This show is every reason I can't stand K-dramas. If I go off on a tangent, it's not my fault. A detective dies in the middle of investigating his own case, gets his body usurped by a Grim Reaper who ends up falling for a dumb girl who can foresee deaths. We start off with Haram. I don't like her. If you want to fight me about this, fight me about this. She should have died and I feel no remorse. Ever since being a child, she could see Grim Reapers, except not fully, she only saw shadows. Or dead people. The show says shadows, but in like the first 2 episodes, she could see dead people from the shadows, so yeah. Now, being just a child, of course, and not really knowing why she could see this, she was traumatized. Like, I won't kill her, but you grew up knowing 2 things. 1, these shadows aren't harming her, and 2, it means the person will die. Now, as a big adult, she still freak out when she see them? Death is inevitable. Not because you can see death makes you some superhero. You know how many times she should have died but didn't? So she's basically a foreseer of death and self-proclaimed superhero. Next character, Mugwang, is dead. He's literally there to be used by the Grim Reaper. The Grim Reaper, who has a name somewhere that I don't remember, but he first stayed in the human world to find his useless partner, but ended up falling for Haram. How you even fall for Haram? He then spends the rest of the movie trying to uncover a case Mugwang was working on, which turned out to be related to him, and we really only focus on those 2 characters. Like, the others will come up during my rant, but we only focus on those really. Haram has a serious superhero complex, and she doesn't even have a constructive superhero complex. Like, if you realize someone is gonna die and you wanna help in a sensible way. Like, the first time we saw her where she held onto the ex's hand, was it so hard to ask him to look before him cross the road? Was that so hard to look before you cross the road? Legit, when the truck came like seconds after he left, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel anything but annoyance. A truck is not going to wait until someone walks across the road to drive. The whole time she was holding on to him, he could have crossed the road. And like, listen, don't even bother with the he was destined to die. Any variable could have changed his fate. And before she tell him, look and cross, she grab onto him hand. Huh? Why on heaven's earth would you chase down a serial killer empty-handed? Am I the only one that truly wanted her to die? Like, the man murdered every soul and you just gonna chase him bare-handed? For what? Because you can foresee death? Are you immortal too? Come on, talk about, I will live till such and such. Do you think people died because they weren't determined enough to live? Oh my gosh, she should have died. On the plane, why should never just ask the people them to make sure say everything in place? Like, ask them to do a checkup. You see now my native tongue is coming out. I cannot stand this girl. Why didn't she ask them? Like, every single time she has some grand idea, it's just reckless as hell. She's almost always saved by luck, and by luck I mean the Grim Reaper. I can only name one idea of hers that wasn't terrible, and it was the first episode where she teamed up with Mugwang. It failed, but it wasn't her fault. Like, listen, I get it, death is a sad thing, and how some people die suck, but being reckless isn't gonna help. It's not gonna help. You can die just the same. Why freak out and jump to help everyone you see is about to die? You aren't obligated, nor are you some sort of chosen one. If you couldn't see deaths, you will be living your life without a care, correct? Am I correct? And people would still die. Matter of fact, even with you seeing deaths, people are still going to die horrible deaths because you aren't some omnipotent god. You can't see everyone deaths, and you sure as hell can't save everyone. Death is inevitable. But the way you die sure as heck isn't, and it's the same as when you die. It's not inevitable. Death itself is inevitable, but not how and when. Any variable can change anything that happens or make it worse, you know? Like this girl who's making everything worse. For the people you can actually save, why not actually come up with a sensible plan before just jumping to save anyone you see with a black shadow? Because one, like with the airplane, people will think you're crazy, and if people actually die, they will also think you did it, because how the heck else would you know? Two, you both could die, and then what? Exactly. Like, I'm not saying she shouldn't try and help who she can, but be sensible about it. C'est tout, tu dois faire. C'est tout. Now, what the heck was that ending? The mystery was actually engaging. That was why I was there, but then they went and had that ending. Badon. Wajan badon. After everything. Why? Why did you? What, do you know that trope where at the ending of a book someone will say, "Oh, it was all a dream"? You know that trope? It's basically that trope. How could they? After I stayed through such torture, so I could get the full mystery, and you just erased everything. After all that build up, you're just gonna erase the main problem. You don't know if Mugang never existed. That means nothing in the show that happened would have happened, because the mother used the older guy. What was his name again? John something. Let's call him T. The mother basically used Tae's heart to give to Mugwang, but if Mugwang never existed, that means she wouldn't need to use a living person's heart to give to her sons, which means there wouldn't be a case on that. Also, for the case with the females, I don't remember if it was related, there wouldn't be anyone looking into that because Mugwang was the one who looked into it and figured out how everything happened. What? Oh my, wait. And then that also means the Haram, she wouldn't have met Mukwan because he was the one that made her actually start using her powers, so that wouldn't even have happened. Mugang's actual body wouldn't have died, so there would be no mystery there. No one will start looking into that. The girl that was dating Mugang, you see me losing brain cells? You can hear me losing brain cells, right? This is me losing brain cells. Basically, the mystery that was driving the show wouldn't have existed because Mu Guang wasn't there. And they really just made him disappear at the end of the show, so he just never existed at all. So I just watched this for no reason. That's what you're telling me. And to make things worse, they're going to make him come back at the end with the girl, dying and seeing him? But if he never existed, how the heck is she supposed to see him? That doesn't make any sense. The guy, what? That doesn't make any sense. If he never existed in the first place, how on the heavens earth would Hara meet him in her afterlife and know for a fact that, oh, I remember everything? From what? From when he existed? Because he never existed. A whole new timeline was created due to the fact that he never existed. So what do you remember? You're in a different timeline. I'm confused. How does this take you out of existence thing works? Because I think it's supposed to make everything the person ever did not happen, because then they would have never been born, conceived, nothing would have happened. So how is it that she's going to die and see him if he's not supposed to exist? Make it make sense. How is she supposed to see him? And then if you're even going to try and tell me that she saw the child, Jung something, the one that she thought Mugong was, the older brother, I think. If you're gonna tell me that she saw him, that doesn't make any sense either, because the Grim Reaper ended up being that older brother, so that older brother will not exist. We even saw where she got married to that little star person, so how the heck? You can't even say that she saw the actual Mugwang, because then that wouldn't make any sense. That wouldn't make any sense. She had no ties with the younger brother. She had none whatsoever. Never have I seen in the childhood where she would have spoken with the younger brother. So would the younger brother even have existed? Will the younger brother have Yo, you see what happens here? Plot holes. That is what happens here. Because you just completely erased this one dude who was basically the heart of this whole show. Why? Why? Pourquoi? I don't understand. Like, it makes sense why the Grim Reapers will know that this man or this Grim Reaper is no longer a thing. It makes sense why they will know, because I don't think it would affect their timeline. It makes sense that it wouldn't affect their timeline. But the reason why he legit said, guess what, I don't want to exist anymore, was just because he didn't want the girl to go and do some dumb crap or some something, something, something. And well, she did try to kill herself. But guess what? She ended up not, which meant that they basically just took away everything. So you know for a fact they did take away everything. And this is now a different timeline, because now she grew up to be some old person. She grew up to be old with another man. So you know for a fact that she grew that this that they're showing you right now at the end is a different timeline. So you can't say anything that makes sense in this part. They had one job. They just had one job. Just the mystery was so good. It was so truly magnifique. I loved the mystery, and you just had to go and ruin it because you what? Because of what? Why do you have to go and ruin it? Oh, because he loves her so much, he will give up his entire existence. Foolishness! This is what you call clownery. The whole entire circus. Mugan's girlfriend. They did her dirty. This girl did not go through prostitution, threats, abuse, trauma, kidnapping, having to work for her kidnappers, so even more trauma, only to have her man die, be taken over by a reaper, have that reaper not even treat her right, have the audacity to fall for someone else, not even be worried when she goes missing, and she's supposed to live with that. The show didn't even seem to care that much. Like, when Harem willingly goes after a serial killer, like a fool. Such beauty, such grace, such bullshit to my face. This show wastes around 2 episodes because, oh no, what if she's dead? I hope she is. The heck? The girlfriend deserved better. I will protest this. I love the police team. Perfect they were. The relationships, top tier. Like, they were quick to call each other out when they crossed the line, but I'd be damned if they let anyone mess with their team members. I love them so much. When they killed the crazy dog, I cried. I didn't. It just hurt like a mother trucker. When the others even dressed to fake a video. So cute. We solving murders, but who said you can't have fun doing so? Okay, so the mystery. Look, it was going good, but then we introduced the final man, who I guess was the big dog. Which why did we even do that? Because the murders all made sense till we introduced that dude. So we had the knife man who was killing anyone who had to do with the prostitution, and it turns out he was working for someone else. That person being the congressman Kim. The mayor, I believe, I don't remember, but you know that old man? And we also know that he killed some people on his own. The knife man, he killed some people on his own, like his sister and someone else. Then we met Missing Fingers, the dude who we thought was working for Kim as well, which made sense since he's trying to kill everyone who he possibly raped or who knew that he raped kids. And since he was the owner of the watch, which showed up like every single weird butterfly watch, sense was made. But then we learned that the ex-mayor was also involved, and the tape they were looking for had him in it, and he was blackmailed by Kim to support him. Why? And also Missing Fingers was actually working for the ex-mayor and not Kim. Why did they add a third person? Like, forgive my memory, but why would Kim even blackmail the guy? Wasn't he the one who, you know, made the video? Wasn't he behind the scenes? I'm not even gonna dive back into that. At the end of everything, the girl didn't even figure out that she was actually dating a Grim Reaper, so he just went the whole time lying to her, and you mean to tell me I'm supposed to just live with this? She didn't even figure out that her own father was a Grim Reaper, and that is why she could actually see the things, the shadows. Like, you mean to tell me that she just went the whole time being lied to, and then almost died being lied to, and having to live another timeline being lied to?